Welcome. September is known as Wills Month. So Kirsty, why is it important to have a valid and up-to-date will?
I believe that leaving a valid will for your family is probably the biggest act of love that you can do. It allows you to ease the burden on those loved ones at a very tough time after your death by clearly outlining your wishes. Without a will, your family may face stress, delays, and potential conflict during an already difficult time, and your assets will not necessarily go where you'd like them to go. But people often delay writing a will, and I think that's often because of many misconceptions. Some people believe that their estate is perhaps too small to warrant a will, while others assume that their children or their family members have got a good understanding and will sort things out fairly. Young couples often think that it's too early to plan for death. As an example, I was widowed at the age of 28 as my husband passed away in an accident, and I can assure you that we never saw that coming. So it is important. The truth is, you're never too young or too old to prepare a will. Speaking of this, perhaps you can tell us what happens to somebody who dies without a valid will in South Africa, and how can it impact their surviving family?
Well, if someone dies without a valid will, they are said to die intestate. Their estate is frozen until legal documents are obtained to authorize someone to manage it. For example, a surviving spouse may not be able to access bank accounts or funds until the estate is finalized. Assets may be distributed according to the law, not the person's wishes, and could end up in the wrong hands.
Jodri, if somebody gets divorced and shortly thereafter they pass away, what effect does that have on their will?
In terms of the Wills Act, after divorce, there's a legal assumption that the former spouses no longer intend to inherit from each other. This assumption is valid for 3 months from the date of divorce, giving ex-spouses time to update their wills accordingly. However, it's important to take note, if they do not update their wills within this 3-month window, it is assumed that they still wish their former spouse to inherit, even if that's not the case. Keeping families in mind, what considerations should one have if there are young children? Can you maybe explain what a testamentary trust is, Kirsty, and when is it appropriate to include it in your will?
Yes, well, a testamentary trust is created in your will, but it only comes into effect after your death. And it's commonly used to manage money for young children or for young adults who perhaps can't manage their own finances. You would appoint the trustees who are there to oversee and to manage the funds on behalf of your minor children. For example, they'd be doing things like paying for their education and the essential needs from the funds that you've left behind until those beneficiaries reach a certain age, perhaps 21 or 25. Jodri, people often ask me, what is the difference between a standard will and a living will?
Yes, that's an excellent question. A standard will outlines how your assets should be distributed after your death. A living will, on the other hand, communicates your medical wishes if you are unable to speak for yourself. For example, if you are in a coma or terminal illness with no hope of recovery. It allows your family and doctors to follow your wishes regarding life support or pain management.
So ultimately, a living will is there whilst you're still alive, whilst your ordinary will is to be actioned in the event that you pass away. What we are hearing is that the most important point for everyone is that if you are over the age of 16, you need to have a will. It forms the backbone of your financial planning. At Core Wealth, we have a full team of certified financial planner professionals and attorneys who are able to help you to draft your will. You're welcome to contact us today.